So, hey everyone, I am Brittany Bidlack, Chief Product Officer here at Dscout, and welcome to our product keynote, where we'll take a look back at everything we accomplished in 2025 and also share what's ahead in 2026. Um, that same spirit from Julie's session is exactly what you'll see throughout today's keynote. How curiosity fuels innovation, how Dscout is evolving to help you do your best work, and how we're developing AI products that make research faster, smarter, and more human. So at Dscout, we've been thinking a lot about what makes something feel magical. Those moments when research surprises you, when a workflow just clicks, or when a tool feels like it's one step ahead of where you need. Creating those moments takes more than great features. It takes a mindset shift, not just in what we build, but in how we imagine what's possible. If you heard Julie's opening keynote, you'll remember her theme, Through the Looking Glass. Like Alice, we've been willing to question what we thought we knew, to step through to the other side and reimagine what research could look like if it weren't bound by the way things have always been done. We asked ourselves, how do you reinvent a platform that's been built on years of research expertise? How do you push beyond legacy workloads and unlock something that feels entirely different? Our answer is by combining research craft with AI-driven magic and creating those moments that make people say, wow, I never thought this would be possible. That's exactly what we explored at CoLab this year, when Jessica, Lauren, Jonathan, and I took the stage to share how we're evolving the Dscout platform, from smarter participant recruiting to more intuitive ways of uncovering and sharing insight. Today, we'll replay a few of our favorite CoLab moments, highlighting how Dscout is becoming more intelligent, integrated, and human than ever. And after that, Jonathan will join us live to walk through our newest AI advancements and give you a peek at what's next for Dscout. Now, to kick things off, we'll cue up Lauren's talk on our core research.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Lauren Madura, the Director of Product Design here at Dscout. And as Bridget mentioned, I'm here representing our core team. Our North Star on the core team is really all about making the platform easier for all of the people who do research on your teams to use. And I'm going to be sharing with you today some stuff that we've been really thrilled to build in the first half of this year, including our brand new homepage design. I'm going to share with you a handful of highly requested features that we were able to deliver in the first part of this year. And I'm also going to share with you how we're bringing AI into the core platform to power up workflows. In July, we rolled out our new UI, which includes a totally revamped homepage and project page. If you're familiar with the old Dscout homepage, maybe some of you are, it was a little bit sad, a little bit barren, and you had to do things like click into a project to sort of get to your missions and screeners and where all of the work happens. So we had some things we wanted to fix, and we were really excited to modernize, improve the experience, and just make a better first impression for, again, you and all of your teams who log into Dscout. The mantra on this project was really all about making Dscout, or making it easier to pick up where you left off. And so we did that by making better use of space, cleaning up our sorting logic, so things that you recently updated or viewed are easily accessible. And we also are exposing missions and screeners right on the homepage, so you no longer have to click into the, find a project, click into the project in order to kind of get to those missions and screeners where the work is happening. We also redesigned our navigation. So we have this new left navigation component, which is now global. That wasn't the case before. So whether you're deep in the playlist builder or building a mission, you can access this menu and navigate to key pages across the platform. We also traded in our pinning concept for a favoriting concept, which allows you to favorite any project, add it to your left nav, and then again, easily access it at any time. This new component is also just sturdy and scalable and is going to be able to evolve with us for a really long time. Last but not least, my favorite part of this project, which is that we cleaned up some language, we simplified some language and got rid of some Dscout jargon, which is very exciting. So this is what you see now in the platform when you go to create something new. We changed the name of live to, drumroll, interviews. And we removed this kind of umbrella that we had before called express. I don't know if anyone in this room is familiar with that term. Kind of sounds like a car wash, and I'm kind of sad, I kind of miss it. But now usability and media surveys are just that. They don't roll up into any other umbrella. So the taxonomy is just a lot cleaner and recognizable. Our capabilities are really straightforward. So this was exciting and something we were really thrilled to be able to do. And I have to call out that you and your teams participated in a lot of research that went into these redesigns, whether it was co-creation interviews or sharing your feedback with us on various iterations of these concepts. You really helped us shape and drive this work forward. And since July, so like I mentioned, this came out in July, we've seen some steady signals that this is having an impact on our users, which is really exciting. So early signals are showing that a key metric we watch, which is time to launch, is decreasing. So it's early, but we're encouraged that this work is actually helping people get work done faster in Dscout. All right, so now I want to share with you a handful of features that we released recently that are highly requested by you and your teams and that we are thrilled to get out in the wild. So the first is post-launch edits, the ability to launch or edit missions after launch. So we released this in April, and this is the third most requested feature of all time. Very excited to finally get this out. So this means that you can fix typos, update questions, and even do things like adjust your knockout logic on screener questions after your mission is launched. So this allows you to both fix mistakes and also kind of tailor your approach on the fly. So with that screener logic or that knockout logic example, you can actually like sort of open up or tighten up your screening logic after you've launched without having to start over in a new mission. In May, we released another highly requested feature, which is question banks. So what question banks allow you to do is save any draft question into your question bank so that you can pull them into any mission. You can also save questions to your workspace or account question bank, which allows you to create a team library of questions. These can be like approved questions or high quality questions that your whole team has access to. And last but not least, here is multivariate testing. I see a couple of claps. I love multivariate testing. My team loves multivariate testing. We use this all the time now that it's out. So multivariate testing allows you to do clean, randomized comparisons inside of a single mission. So multivariate, actually the way we built this is multivariate is a block that you can put into any media survey or usability test, and it allows you to randomize entire sets of questions in order to reduce order bias. So we built this with a lot of flexibility, so you can have any number of questions inside of your variants, and you can also add any question that Dscout currently supports, including like card sorts, tasks, all kinds of things. You can also decide if you want to show all of your concepts or all of your variants to your users and just randomize the order, or show just one concept and have it randomly assigned across your participants. All right, and now I'm going to talk about how we are bringing AI into the core platform to make some of those time-consuming aspects of research a little bit lighter, doing some of the ampersanding that Michael mentioned earlier. The first feature I want to talk about is notable moments. So notable moments is a feature that exists inside of usability tests. And it's an analysis feature that lives inside of usability tests. And what notable moments allow you to do is when you're looking at a user's response to your usability test, you can, it serves up or highlights moments of friction or strong opinion that allow you to jump in and zero straight in on kind of those most interesting moments without having to sift through all of the data. And like I said, this is available in usability testing right now, and we plan to roll it out in interviews as well at the end of the month for all customers who have access to Dscout AI. And then I want to talk about a couple of features that are not out yet, but we're currently working on. The first is AI suggestions. So AI suggestions helps you write better questions. So the way that this works is as you're drafting questions in the builder, you can use this feature to generate suggestions. And what the AI will do is actually take in the context of your entire mission and then make suggestions for each question about how to improve that question in order to get a better response. Sometimes it's about clarity. Sometimes it's about separating out like a double-barreled question. So this helps you write better questions. It also helps all of the people on your team who might be, less experienced researchers also write better questions. And then Screener Drafter is another kind of early concept that we're working on right now. And screening is one of those things that's very important, right? Defining your audience is critically important to running good research, but it's also translating that into screener logic is really time consuming and tedious. So the idea with Screener Drafter is that you can use AI to sort of conversationally tell us who you want to target, who you want to talk to, and we kind of take out that legwork of having to program the screener logic and do that for you. And then finally, we have dynamic follow-up questions, which are quite literally follow-up questions that write themselves. So the idea with dynamic follow-up questions is that when you're running unmoderated research, you're a little bit more locked in than you are when you're doing something like an interview, right? Somebody says something interesting in an interview, you can dig in, you can kind of meander. And like I said, with unmoderated, you're more locked in. So this allows you to capture the scale of unmoderated research and also use AI to ask follow-ups kind of in the moment. So the way that this works is that AI will understand and decide if a follow-up question is appropriate and inject it right into the mission without having to design that up front. So it captures insights that you can't plan for ahead of time in an unmoderated setting. All right, so that's all I've got. We're excited about the features we've been able to release and that we've been able to get some things out that have been highly requested from you and your teams. We're really proud of the progress we've made to, again, make the core platform easier for all of the people who do research on your teams to use. With that, I'm going to hand it over to my colleague Jessica, who's going to talk about all things Scouts.
Hello, my name is Jessica White, and I'm a director of product here at Dscout. And I am responsible on focusing on our recruiting tools and our participant experiences. So all of the things that are kind of in the background and the machinery of the running of your research, the things that you don't necessarily want to think about all of the time, but are really critical to keeping your research running. And it's funny because a lot of times, I'll be releasing a feature kind of in the background and we'll be pulling some levers and product marketing comes up to me and they're like, this is great. What can we tell customers about this? And I think about it and I'm like, well, nothing, because it kind of works like they already thought it was, and it is and still does, but now it's just kind of more so. And in thinking about that space, I was thinking about what other products kind of equate to that. And it actually made me think of Disney, which we've apparently been talking a lot about today. Eleanor, I think I am not a Disney adult, but I think my coworkers might actually disagree with that. But in thinking about, if you've been to a Disney World park, you know that the UX at those parks are world-class. It is unmatched. And when I think about, what Bridget was talking about and going from methodical to magical, and I thought about those magical, the new rides that Disney is constantly building. And thinking about what Lauren was just talking about with these intuitive moments of delight in our product. And I thought about, it reminded me of asking my 7-year-old niece what her favorite thing about the Disney park was. And she said it was when she was scanning her magic band on the thing and the way that it lit up and the noise that it made as it lit up. So even 7-year-olds recognize world-class UX. But what I work on is actually more akin to Disney's Go Away Green. And if you're not familiar with what this is, it's essentially this color palette, these shades of green that Disney invented or coined, and they use it to paint all of the things in the park that they don't want you to see. Things like fences, garbage cans, utility buildings, staff entrances, All of the stuff that if you saw directly would ruin the magic of the park. But if they weren't there, your experience in the park would devolve into a nightmare pretty rapidly. And so the way that you think about all these things, even though you don't want to think about them, you have a lot of opinions about them. And I know that because for the last 2 years at Collab, we set up product booths, and I was at the recruiting booth, and I said, bring me all of your toughest recruiting challenges. And what was interesting was pretty much without exception, everything fell into 3 buckets. And those buckets were those tough recruits. We talked about Scout quality, and we talked about bringing your own participants. So I am really excited to stand up here today and talk to you about some of the stuff that we've been building over the past year as we've been trying to feverishly paint them green. And I'm going to start with our partner panels. So first of all, it goes without saying, we love our Scout pool. We get tremendous value from them. You get tremendous value from them. But no matter how big we grow our Scout pool, there's always going to be those recruits where we can't fill them with our pool. So when you need travel nurses that have lived in Hawaii for at least 8 months, drive a Prius, and within the next 3 weeks are considering adopting a dog. Some of you are like, what? That's probably, but I guarantee you there are people in this room that feel very seen right now. But we need help with that, right? And so when we knew we wanted to expand to partner panels, we really carefully and intentionally vetted which partner we wanted to go with. And our main focus of that vetting was really about the reach. We wanted to make sure that that B2B, the niche, the international recruits, they would be there. And so after many, many feasibility tests, we landed on partnering with Respondent. And so we have recently released our Respondent integration in our screener tool. So you now have access to an additional 3 million participants when you need that reach. So this is currently in our standalone screener tool. And coming soon, it's also going to be available in our auto recruit tool when you're auto recruiting for media surveys and usability. But what is truly go away green about this feature is that when we built this integration, we actually integrated this seamlessly into our product. This is not iframed in. This is not you go and you open up some window and you're learning some other product and other rules of screeners. You're using the Dscout tools that you already know to reach those participants. So if you haven't seen this in your accounts yet, please reach out to get this turned on. We want the feedback from you on how this is performing and whether those recruits are there so we can make choices about where to go next. So the second bucket was about Scout quality. And this was interesting because it was less of a friction point, but what was super interesting is I think that every single person that came up to me to say something about quality said verbatim the exact same thing to me. And it was, what are you doing to keep the quality of your Scout pool so much better than your competitors? And those were your words. Those were not mine. I would not come up here and make this up and say this. That's what every person said to me. But I think it's worth having the conversation that our Scout quality is not by accident. We are continuously investing in the quality of our Scout pool. And we do that by making sure that when we put those friction points in front of the Scouts, we want to keep that balance between the speed and the scale, so we're not restricting the growth of our pool at the same time. And so over the past year, the first half of this year, we were working on a lot of things that we wanted to amp up with our quality. And these are things that we didn't just lightly paint green. We were actually just like opening up whole cans of green paint and just like dumping it on them. But what we wanted to do, first, we started blocking all VPNs. This was one of the main ways that people were spoofing locations. We tightened rules around email and phone verifications. And we created more restrictions on location confirmation. And so this is what I was talking about before when I was saying, well, some of the things we're doing are just like, yeah, it works like it already was, but it's just more so. But also with quality, we want to continuously invest in it and take it a step further. So coming soon, we're actually going to be piloting ID verification for those scouts that are doing auto recruit into media surveys and usability. So clearly, in this age of AI, it's more important now than ever that we actually know who you say you are. But this is going to let us not only know that, but also be able to confirm their age, confirm their location country. And so as we test this, we're going to make sure this doesn't impact that balance of speed, quality, and scale. But this shows you how we are continuously evolving this and always iterating on it. And one thing that Taylor mentioned earlier about us really partnering with you in building a lot of our products, this is one of those places where that really comes in. Because every time that you flag one of our scouts for quality, we actually have someone on our support team individually looking into those and acting with the appropriate action with that scout. So this is something that we're doing, you're helping us do, but it is something that is super important to us, and we want to continue working with us on it. And then finally, the third bucket was when you're bringing your own participants. So I talked to 2 education researchers at CoLab last year, and they had their whole list of all of these faculties and professors at universities that they needed to do research with. And all of those people worked at organizations that told them they could not download a Chrome extension. And so this was a non-starter for them, right? They couldn't do that research on Dscout. And so this year, coming later this year, we're excited to address 2 of the biggest friction points when you are bringing your own participants. And the first is that we're going to release an account-free experience. So we've already made great strides over the last couple of years, removing a lot of those friction points already. So we released passwordless experience. It is pretty easy for those participants to get into Dscout. But we know that sometimes if you're just filling out a simple survey, that even putting in your name and email address can feel like a huge lift. So coming in, we're going to have an accountless feature for desktop media survey and usability. And then the second is that we're going to release an extension for usability so that when you have those moments when you have a simple card sort, you want continuous recording, you can have your participant take that mission and not have to download a Chrome extension. So while that is very exciting, but not everything I build is as flashy as Epcot's Guardian of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, which is arguably the second best roller coaster that will ever exist in all of humanity. But a lot of what we focus on with recruiting and participant tools actually does maintain a lot of that magic that you see with Dscout.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and hopefully you got a sense of the care, research, and customer collaboration that our UX and product team take to ensure that we're delivering value to all of you, whether that's in creating intuitive and inviting experiences, working behind the scenes to ensure access to authentic human, or giving you some power-ups for your research. But wait, there is more. Last but not least is Jonathan, who will walk you through some of our most exciting AI breakthroughs. We are moving fast in this area, so we'll switch it up to give you the latest and greatest with a live presentation. Take it away, Jonathan.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you. We all can appreciate technology is complex. What we do is hard. First of all, I'm really just thrilled to be here. It's really actually kind of exciting because even since CoLab the first time this year, we've changed so much and started introducing so many things. It felt important to do this live. And really, that's because the team here is so motivated by the task at hand of what you all do. The work you do from research to design and everything in between is so important, and it motivates us every day. Now, before we dive in, I do want to set the stage and echo a few of Julie's opening remarks to just remind all of us, like, we are in this very dynamic moment as an industry, as a practice, all with the advent of AI, right? So to the surprise of no one, we've been doing a lot of research on how you all are thinking about and working with AI. And this ongoing foundational research led by our UX team is paramount in shaping our approach to working with AI. Now, one of the things I loved most about our most recent study was we were asking folks to use 3 words to describe their mindset around AI. And polarities existed within nearly every individual. juxtapositions like excited and scared, apprehensive and curious from a single participant were incredibly common. Very, very few people were feeling just one way, either positively or negatively about AI. And frankly, I think that's really healthy. That balance of optimism and criticality in this moment is critical. We can't just throw AI at every problem. We have to do so in a principled way. And really, to ensure we're meeting you where you are and to help our team codify this in our products, we're working with this set of principles that you see here on the screen that help guide our day-to-day decision-making. I'm not going to get into the details of each one, but to say really our overarching theme is to build tools that are in the service of your craft, very much keeping you in control and amplifying what you do best. All right, let's dive in. So this first of 3 initiatives I want to cover is our Explore Your Data analysis capability. We kicked this off about a year ago at CoLab last summer, and it's been in the hands of users for quite a few months now. And really what we're doing here with this is giving you the ability to ask questions of your research and fine-tune the context for your prompts. The ability to explore your data in this unstructured kind of chat experience that you're about to see really helps you uncover trends and quotes, test your hypotheses, and so much more. And with that, I'm going to get into a demo. So here we are. We are looking at Dscout. This is a media survey that's about streaming music habits. And we asked participants to actually help envision concepts that would improve their experience. Now, Explore Your Data is available in any analysis view. And you just, you dive in, it opens into a new tab, and here you can start to see this experience. Now, a little more specificity around why we believe context setting is so important. LLM tools can get a little confused when there's a big sphere of data. And setting that context is really paramount to ensure the quality and that you're not risking kind of ancillary or unimportant information being a part of what you're querying. And so we've done that really with the ability to just select and deselect questions at the mission level. And in this case, you can see here we have everything. But for the sake of this admittedly brief demo, I'm actually going to zoom in on just question 8, because I know that question 8 was at the heart of the study, and I don't need the context around how often people listen to music. I just want to get into what are those ideas. And it's really as simple, as asking a quick question. Goodness, I'll just go ahead and ask it here. Okay. What are the 5 main trends shared by participants? And so again, it's really focused on this question 8. And what's great here is that I can start to get into really quick seeing of these themes and how they're working, but also remember, this is very open-ended. So here's a chance for you to also kind of reverse that flow and say, early in my research process, I have these themes, I have that I've gone in, I've had these hypotheses, and I can ask for, the evidence that supports my own hypotheses. So the ability to kind of flip and ask questions any way you want is really important. Again, that research-backed principle of keeping you in control. Now, another piece here that just to highlight is about transparency. So every time we give you a response, we give you access to all those source capabilities. And in this place, even here, like I can go in, and so what I've been describing is very early analysis phase, but towards the end, I can even ask it to say, at the end of the research kind of experience, when you need those quotes that bring it to life, get me 3 quotes that bring the song identification and information features to life. See how it does with my misspelling. And here, this is great. So we can already kind of see very quickly, we're getting the quotes, we're getting the sources. And then here, the idea of, helping people really get into like famous catalog lists and such. So I want to jump into that quote. And what's great here, again, back to the spirit of keeping you in control. I can get you all the way in to this participant's answer to that question. You can get exactly to that quote. You can really see what's going on. You can take advantage of all of the nuanced analysis capabilities in the Dscout product, whether that's tagging or leaving notes. Any of those collaboration capabilities are still available. Again, in the spirit of keeping you in control, of saving you time and letting you kind of uncover what it is that you need to dig into. All right. Now, of course, explore your data. We're really just getting going. So up next for this analysis capabilities are two main power-ups and a further experiment. So one, we're actually working to unlock report writing. We want to provide summaries of your mission at the click of a button that really support your analysis and sharing moments, but it's also important to keep you in control and let that be editable and kind of prompt tune your way to a great report. We understand how time consuming that kind of authoring moment can be, and we believe we can help, again, get you a really important first step. Now, the second, as I mentioned before, context is so important. And what we really want to do here is say, first, we've let you get to the question level, but we want to open that aperture. And so you can have explore your data for interview methods, for diary methods, and then the next extension will be across missions and methods at the project level. And we really think that's an important ability to kind of go narrow and go broad to, again, support the research that you need to do. Now, by introduction of this second initiative I want to share, I'm going to give you a very important, strongly held belief here at Dscout. And it's really that research should be more flexible. Research is a human act, and we want research to feel more human and less structured than it does today. And with AI, research can become far more flexible than the rigid programming experience we're all very familiar with, right? Additionally, we can infuse our agents with the deep expertise we've gained from supporting the world's best research teams over the last decade. It's really an incredible capability to ingrain that expertise, but also we can take it and ingrain each organization's unique rules at the account level. So whatever kind of rules around recruiting and incentives, the guardrails you need, and the brand you want can all be a part of really flexible research workflow. So with that, I'm really excited to announce Dscout Canvas. It adds all that flexibility I was just kind of gushing about, and it comes embedded with the expertise of not just Dscout, but also your own teams. And it's going to let people quickly draft, launch, and field high quality studies. Now, what you're going to see is that we've started with mission drafting. But this flexibility and power, it should really work across the research lifecycle in Dscout. Now, at the risk of watching me type again, I want to jump into a quick demo here. So let's put our hats on and let's pretend I am a designer on a big project to rework an online plant shop's website. And I need to test a Figma prototype with an all new flow. So it's really just like in any project in Dscout, you would go in and I want to create a new mission. And here you can see I've got the ability to do an AI usability test with Dscout Canvas, and it's going to help me create that study. So we are now in the Canvas ecosystem, and I could kind of go ad nauseum in this section, but I'm just going to use one of these quick hits and just say, hey, I want to validate some core tasks. So we get into this chat experience, and what it's going to do here is essentially it's kind of saying what it's up to. It's going to give me all the prompts. And at this point, it's asking me for a Figma prototype. Now, when I share this prototype, two things have started. And we're trying to keep a lot of that information very clear and transparent to you for what's going on. But essentially, it is looking at all the content in that Figma prototype, and it's taking that initial prompt, and it's going to start to try and build a set of research objectives. Now, I am just going to let this know that I actually really want to make sure that it's focused on this kind of pet-friendly plant experience. And I also want to know some kind of expectations and then how well we've met those expectations. So those are the kind of the quick objectives I have and I want to share with it. And at this point, again, it's really diving deep to triangulate all of that content. Now, what it will produce at this moment is not a whole research study. Again, in the spirit of making sure we're keeping you in control and you have those kind of that human gap in between these important moments, what it's going to do is generate research objectives. So now we've gone from chat, and now we're in this Canvas experience. And we can see kind of based on the prototype and based on what I've prompted it, it's giving me a really nice set of research objectives. Now, like any good Canvas UI, I could do broad stroke changes with the chat, but I could also come in here and I could do, very specific, fine, detailed, scalpel-like precision of all the content in here. But again, in the sake of time, I'm going to say, as I took a quick scan, these are great research objectives. And yeah, I want to generate the study. Again, all these become moments for you to take pause, take stock, give a human review of kind of what's going on in this study generation. But the other thing that I think is really great is that, I've probably been demoing this for 90 seconds, maybe a little bit more, but we're really taking kind of a rigorous approach to say, we've got prototype with a lot of loaded information just intrinsically in it. We're clarifying some research objectives, and now we can give users very quickly a study, right? So we've got task questions, we've got all sorts of different single select and talk out louds. And again, all of this becomes, very editable. I can add options here. I can go in and I can tune the language. But again, just kind of for the sake of expediency, I'm gonna kind of skip some of that capability and just get into this last little step again, which is all about keeping you in control. So now I want to create this mission. We've got a title. Because this is in pilot right now with our AI council, we are still supporting all of our recruiting and all the nuanced capabilities. So we're providing this little jumping off point where you make those selections. But now what it's doing is it's loading this into Dscout proper. And we're going to get the chance to work, again, within Dscout with all of the capabilities we know. So maybe you need to do a couple of randomization choices. That's a best practice. Or, you're really curious. I really need to ask Taylor to double check something. So I could mention Taylor and take advantage of all those collaboration capabilities or any of the guidance and guardrails like mission review or the question libraries. All those things are still available, even though we're saving so much time in this process. So, okay, I'm going to jump out of this back into the presentation. We're covering a lot of ground. I've shown you two very, very kind of big topics. And I want to get into the final topic I'm going to share today. There's no way to kind of say this, I think, elegantly. There is a lot of content and a lot of discussion floating around in the world under the banner of AI moderation. And frankly, there's some pretty cavalier claims being made related to this topic. It's not a very precise topic. And really, for the last year or so, we've done a ton of research into this, a lot of experimentation, and we have learned quite a bit. And with this, we have formed what we believe is a really important point of view and a very strong opinion. So first, we believe dynamic, unmoderated studies are not a replacement for in-depth interviews. The IDI is a key method in the researcher toolkit, and we will continue to support it. Our research was crystal clear. This is not about a replacement of researchers, nor is it a replacement of human-to-human methods. Rather, this is a power-up for unmoderated methodologies. Right? This is an opportunity to generate richer data than those rigid structures I was just talking about that we've grown accustomed to in traditional unmoderated methods. It provides all those little chances to clarify in real time and pry deeper when you can't be there, helping scale you and those really, really valuable little things you can do, but that we can also reliably do with some of this technology. And perhaps it's also just an easier path for novices to be doing more research. For example, with usability tests. And this is why, as Lauren had mentioned earlier, we started with dynamic follow-up questions as like a baby step towards this type of methodological evolution. And then finally, this is the kind of thing that in the future will undoubtedly lower some previous limitations caused by language barriers, caused by time zone challenges. So all of these things we believe are possible. We're working very hard to keep benchmark understanding of value and quality of that data. And we're really ensuring that our principles lead our decision-making as we get through this. Now, the other thing to say about this, that As excited as we are to introduce dynamic unmoderated capability into Dscout early this year, it also gets to take advantage of the platform itself, just like Canvas, right? It really means you can take advantage of things like our verified panel, all the flexible recruiting capabilities, and tools like Explore Your Data that really lead you back to that source, to that human moment. And of course, we've got a decade plus of supporting you all and your teams and the work you do, and all that expertise is infused into these kinds of capabilities. Okay, that is it for me today. Thank you for bearing with my typing. I hope I've piqued your curiosity, and you'll look deeper into what we've got going on here at Dscout. And with that, Bridget, I'll pass it back to you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Such amazing developments coming from our AI work. And hopefully you're excited too on where we are heading and what's to come with Canvas and the AI moderator. And a huge thank you again to Lauren and Jessica for all of their incredible contributions to what you saw today. When we look back at those magical moments and at what Jonathan just showed, it's clear how far we've come. AI isn't just transforming our tools, it's expanding what's possible for research and for the people behind it. As we look ahead, our product roadmap is guided by a simple philosophy. Keep what makes Dscout human while designing a future that's smarter, faster, and more connected. To do this, we're focusing our roadmap on 4 themes, and we'll dive into each one. First is agentic recruiting. Every researcher gets their own recruiting copilot. You tell it your goal, who you need to reach, and why, and the copilot does the rest. It manages feasibility, sourcing, outreach, and quality, learning from every study to make the next one smarter and faster. It's the future of participant access. It's predictive, adaptive, and deeply human. We're bringing the authenticity Dscout is known for to a fully agentic experience. The next is embedded experiences. With embedded experiences, Dscout becomes a living layer of your workflow wherever that research happens. So imagine launching a study, viewing insights, or capturing highlights right inside Figma, Slack, or Notion. AI Copilot simplifies setup and synthesis, while MCPs and agent-to-agent workflows will connect everything seamlessly across your company's tech stack. Our third theme is continuous insight. Research is shifting from one-off projects to an always-on system that listens, learns, and adapts. With automation, AI, and behavioral data, teams can trigger studies, monitor trends, and stay aligned all in real time. And across the company, anyone, not just researchers, can query past work, surface insights, and see what's emerging next. It makes human insight instantly accessible and actionable. In our final theme, breakthroughs with AI, AI represents a huge moment for our industry. It's not the answer to everything, but it can break trade-offs in every phase of research. It can unlock new methods and inspire creative approaches that drive meaningful impact. Our goal is to make AI feel like a partner, helping teams move faster, think deeper, and stay human at every step. Together, these themes are moving Dscout towards a system of continuous intelligence powered by AI and grounded in real human understanding. That's what's ahead for Dscout, a platform built not just to keep up with the future, but to help you lead it. So if anything today got you thinking, sparked an idea, or made you want to collaborate, reach out. Simply scan this QR code to speak to one of our experts, and we'll follow up and give you a personalized demo of all these new features.